10 mil.
That's fair. Yeah. All right, so let's start with a quick refresher on painting rust.
All right, so Am was good enough to have the secret weapon rust set here for me today. I will be using probably not all of these. I don't think I'll use rust shadow much today, um, but I do have the others. In particular, one of the things I love about bridges like this, it's old rust, was specifically designed for it. It's actually the most complicated to make color in the set, just because yeah, normally when you're mixing up the paint, you put in a maximum of hopefully two colors, two pigments, three pigments tops. There's a maximum quantity of pigment you can put in to still maintain consistency. And yeah, this is 6 different colors to get what we want. And in those cases, just a couple of points on a couple of those colors. But I'm going to use a lot of the old rust, red rust, brown rust today. A bit of the orange and yellow for some streaking later to do that in acrylic. And I'm going to start with blister foam to get the texture of it too.
You have all the paint, so I'll have you fill me up too.
Do you have a pin to poke these with?
I have some paper clips here.
Oh, here you go. Pass them over. Probably shaking a bit.
Probably. Shaking paint is generally good practice.
Doesn't take much. I've seen some pretty ridiculous things out there for shaking up paint.
Yeah.
But does not take much. That reminds me to swing by the warehouse and just get some extra caps. Making some larger terrain components. And I need to actually use these as our gates a lot for the resin, so I can attach an 1/8-inch rod on here onto the model and put it right on here, and we'll have a wonderful gate for making the prototypes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, I'm dipping my
You're using
rust in my sponge.
the darker one first.
Yeah. However you're gonna. I mean, it's random is random.
Yeah.
And the rest is gonna be random. So, and we're hitting this fairly heavy. It's an old truss bridge.
So on the to-do list when I fix up this streaming setup out here is better mounting for the camera, because it's currently just kind of attached to the side of a plastic table, and it's not very happy with that.
Bouncing like mad.
A little bit, and also I think I've broken part of the plastic now, tightening it.
Oh, nice.
So
That's convenient.
just a little. Make sure to do the inside too.
Yeah. Trying to keep myself visible here. In fact, I'm going to move the camera onto the bouncy table too.
Yeah, if you can bring it over on my side.
Well, I was thinking I'd bring it right here where I'm working.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I was thinking that you could put it here and then it's facing that way. But yeah, that's probably better to actually show what you're doing rather than you face.
Yeah, they don't need to see what I look like. Let me see what this looks like. Spongy, 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 sponge. I took a spongy out to see a movie. Didn't have to pay to get it in. What I'm gonna do while I bounce over here is hold on to that.
You know, that might be a good idea. I've pretty much saturated this thing in Gorilla Glue, but that doesn't mean it's not going to break. It's only just a little wobbly.
Just a touch. Squish. Fling in paint, fling in paint.
It's fine. I haven't finished the ground there.
Oh, good. Good news is it's, ground covered.
Yeah.
I'll just blend that in for you.
Thank you.
Definitely here to help.
Yeah. End up getting that water effects poured in the next day or two. Start at least, because it's going to take a couple of pours to get it how I want.
Alright, let's change color just for a sec. Just to mix things up a bit. Go with my rust. Now this color matches the original rust you had on here, that base coat, pretty well.
Yeah.
And that'll be good for helping break up some of this purple. So I'll bring you guys in here for just a second. So you can see I've got a patch right here. It's just kind of blobby. So I can now get in there with the red and break that up. We'll do this with some pigment later, but you want to come in with your acrylic first, or it won't look as realistic. The majority of rust, as much as I like doing heavy rust, is fairly subtle. Even on a fully rusted thing, it's not as dry, not as textured. It's just old. Doesn't look as flaky. So that's definitely helped break up the pattern texture here. Now I'm going to have a seat and come work on the sides a bit. Gotta get everywhere. The areas closest to the moisture here, of course, are going to be the areas most prone to streaking and new rust coat. So I'll aim to do some rough across these. And make sure I get this nice and crunchy. So we've introduced Seamus to the original Scooby-Doo cartoons. Right, I told you this because you brought over the...
Yeah, I brought you Mr. Ink.
Mr. Ink. Yeah, he's digging it.
Awesome. It's a good show.
Yeah, we let him watch the Scooby-Doo movie too.
The live action one? Yeah.
That was more fun than I thought it would be. Monica and I started number 2, but it was just like Buffy the rerun for the first 20 minutes. So we gave up.
I installed additional light in here. I'm still feeling like I need more light.
Always. The next big challenge for the studio remodel now is getting enough light in there for all of us to be happy.
Yeah.
Although the lights under the cabinets are pretty damn great.
Yeah, those were really nice.
Monica's actually not sure she wants to be under them, so I've offered to trade spots with her. I'll take that light.
It would provide you a nice backdrop for when you're doing this over there.
Yeah.
And that wood wall and all of the art and whatnot. I'll break my camera.
So what about their audience land? What are you crazy kids working on this week? Since today is mostly watching all this awesome spongy action.
It's fun to watch paint dry.
Get the old rest, please. Purple. We need a chance.
Yeah.
I'll switch colors for now. Well, Brian's working on a Tau kill team. That's pretty cool.
That's fun.
I really need to put together a kill team from one of my painted armies and stop trying to paint new kill teams. So I'd like to go play. The local G-Dubs has a league too. I know a bunch of folks in it. That doesn't work just.
Yeah, I've been considering doing that as well. I've got enough 40k figures. I should be able to put something together.
Right? That's the whole idea. Of course, I did that with my Vestronians, and I decided to repaint them.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. Oh, he's also playing a kill team league with orcs. 2 wins, 1 loss. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I've really been enjoying the games that Games Workshop has been putting out lately. Help act as an introduction to their product. Well, to their broader catalog, I should say.
Yeah. It's nice to have multiple uses for the box sets. I really like that Speed Freaks.
Yeah, stuff.
And the new
Taking commissions on Speed Freaks.
me too.
Granted, I'm taking commissions on just about everything. So.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Don't send me things that require flesh tones. But yeah. I can't remember what they're calling it, but it's the Shade Fire for 40k. Has some nice models. Got a new Cruise Hunter in that set.
Oh, nice. Let's see the Cruise coming. I like the Cruise. They're the only part of the town I like.
Aww. well, weeb, so big stompy robots
Yeah.
that are based on an American property. But whatever. Nobody cares about Starship Troopers. Blackstone Fortress is uh, the game I am thinking of, which is shade-inspired with the 40K.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't have the ability to manually focus and whatnot, so my camera's going to be all sorts of out of whack today until I figure out how I change that setting.
Tap 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 tap.
Tippity tappity tippity tappity tippity tappity tap.
My arm's getting tired.
I'm sorry, it's a small bridge.
Yeah. I stifle all day, I stifle all night.
And even with how big this end is, it's still out of scale actually from what it should be.
Well, yeah, it should be what, half again as wide, I think.
No, it should actually be slightly narrower, but longer.
Well,
Yeah. Because if we take a car, put it on the bridge,
but
and it's only a 2-lane bridge, but it actually in the show it has a separate second railroad track, but I didn't feel like dealing with more track. Yeah, it should be probably like another 2 feet long for where the 8th MS team is located for the sniper's nest. The sniper's nest should probably be about another half a foot up. Yeah.
but you're only getting so carried away.
Yeah. I mean, I still have to fit it in a car and then in the house.
Eventually. Seems fair. Spongy, spongy, spongy.
Everybody loves a good spongy. And yeah, Tom, the weather is really great today. It's nice and sunny in Cali, slightly cool.
Getting up to, I think, 81 or 82 today or something.
Oh, nice.
It's funny, I was seeing friends on Facebook, the East Coast, to talk about, these impossible 40 to 50 degree weather or temperature changes in the course of the day. Like, where does that happen? Oh my God, this is nuts. Like, Sacramento.
Yeah.
Every day. Like, it was 44 degrees when I woke up. And it's going to be like 84 today. That seems so very normal to me.
It does. My fingers are very rusty.
Yeah. It's a good thing we know who makes the paint and what's in it.
Yeah.
All right. Switching back. some of this. Blend in that violet color so it's clear that it's layered. The more layers we do with this, the more realistic it's going to look. But I know you don't want to spend 100 hours on rusting a bridge.
Well, I mean, you know.
Okay, I don't want to spend 100 hours rusting a bridge.
That's fair.
I invite you to. A little crampy there.
A little bit. Fingers going now.
I think it's only the old shoulder injury that gets me. Thank you. A lot of this.
I don't know why.
Brown rust, please.
Brown rust. I have red
Or
rust.
red rust.
It is kind of a brown. But also kind of a red.
Yes. So right now I'm really looking for spots where the purple's either too heavy for my taste, not textured, or particularly anywhere that my stippling gave me a texture. So I use the same spot on the sponge too many times. Really trying to break that up. And I've gone back and forth over this a lot to really sell the image of the bridge.
It is really amazing to see it come together. Yeah. From just being some random splotches of color to actually looking like.
And it'll happen quick. Like you'll pull the sponge away and then be like, oh, hey, that actually looks pretty great.
Yeah.
Did I do that? So now I'm going to get a little funky. Get some orange rust out here. Just a couple little spots. Orange is one of the ones that are clear based, so it goes on nice and translucent. Especially when you're stippling like this. Just that down this end. The moisture will give it more opportunity for fresh rust.
You pour me a bit. Pour me a glass.
Yep. Have a shot of orange rust. Too heavy. Oh, actually, that looks nice. Just hit it with my fingertip and boom. Problem solved. And a couple of these weld spots here too. A little emphasis. Interest. And then,
yeah, I'm not going to say the welder was drunk, but there's something going on with that welder that day.
take a tiny little bit. I'm also going to bring it down on the bricks, right up against the trucks. All right, let me take you on the Blair Witch tour of the project again. See if I can get some good visual here on the rust. There we are. And the little spots where I brought it down onto the brick a little bit. So this is that part where I take a brief break for water, and then come back, and I actually think I'll put a little pigment on here to show the whole thing come together.
Yeah, come over to my side too. Cheap.
Oh, extricate myself from the cables.
Yeah, good luck.
So you'll want to do more to break up the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere it's a big splotch, just hit that with the red rust.
Okay.
And yeah, you can check out the texture on the other side too. You'll see what I mean. We really want that purple rust
Oh yeah.
to actually be behind
Yeah.
the red rust, and build that up in layers that way. Because that old rust is going to be in the background. And hey, welcome folks. See, we've got some new viewers now. Good to see you. All right. At this point, I'm going to need to borrow your pigments.
Oh my. Which colors would you like?
Violet.
I mean, they go to my office to get some. I've got red rust here. Various grays. So red rust.
All right.
And okay, so violet.
Any of the yellows. And brown rust. Violet, brown rust, any yellow. Hey, dark yellow, perfect. Isopropyl or pigment fixer?
I got isopropyl on the bucket down there.
Okay, cool. Well, for the folks just joining us now, we are broadcasting live from Emily's studio here on this massive Gundam diorama. As I set up for the other step, I'll bring the camera back so you get an idea of just how big this thing is. I can't reach all the way across it, in fact. So we've been adding rust to the bridge, and I've done my acrylic texture so far. So I'm going to jump in with some dry pigments. I have dark yellow and rust red here. Hey, look, I think I can even get these on the screen. Hey, look at that. Woo! find the front of this. I want that. Oh, it won't open because it's sealed. Hey, look at that. I haven't seen a sealed bottle of pigment in so long. Boom, rust red. All right. Chrome brush here. Rust red. Woo! Violet and rust red and rust red. All right, definitely pigment time.
No. Pigment time.
Can't rust this. Oh wait, we can. Gonna rust this. You rust it, Justin, instead of fix it, Felix.
Yeah.
I can rust it. But Justin, it's a wooden handle. I can rust it.
I think we found your Adepticon cosplay.
Can't rust it, Justin.
Yeah. We'll get you some orange overalls.
There you go. It means it's already happened.
I'm not surprised.
I may actually not. I had a bright orange coverall jumpsuit thing for one of the juggling gigs I used to do. Very dangerous juggling. So yeah, we had bright orange jumpsuits. It's great. Is this 91 or 99?
Don't remember.
Did you get it at the grocery store?
Walgreens.
Yeah, 90. Thank you. All right, come here, my brushes. All right, so now I have, and you guys can actually see them at this point. I have violet, rust red, rust brown, and a little bit of dark yellow. I'm going to use the use the violet again to emphasize those areas where I went over with the old rust. I'm now going to come around some of them in spots and emphasize that with some of the dry pigment wash that I've made here. We normally do this with a fixer, but neither of us has it today. It happens.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't mind working with isopropyl. I actually like the stuff.
We're all a pink cup.
But it is the best way to strip your bone. Me. Let's bring you guys in for the ride.
You'll want to be careful because it is just plastic art. It has primer and whatnot on it, but that doesn't particularly mean that it's going to hold up.
So again, this is the violet wash I've made. You can see I'm stippling this in here too. Not brushing or making it big pools. I am getting the brush nice and wet because I want gravity to do some of the job for me and help spread out the pigment in a more natural way. Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Play footsie here.
Oh dear. It's not that kind of broadcast.
All right. So again, the dry pigment should be an accent, generally speaking. You really overdo it. Particularly with rust, I find people will do the whole rust with just pigment. I think it looks a bit messy, but it may just be.
I think there's a bit of a learning curve with it, um, especially if you don't have a master to just teach you. A lot of people who are that I've seen that are just like getting started with doing weathering and rust and whatnot always seem to go too heavy with it. And it's really once they get their stride of figuring out how everything works and what to do that they tone it down and it gets more realistic.
Let's see if I can get this. Focus. Use the white brush handle here. So, maybe not very well. Finger. Here we go. So you can see the difference, hopefully, right here between the original paint and now you can see this little dry patch. And that is where I applied the pigment, and you can see how even with the old rust acrylic there's definitely a difference between the two. That nice dry texture while emphasizing the existing color. Playing any exciting new games right now?
We did the Fallout 76 beta last night.
Oh yeah, what'd you guys think?
It's not bad. There's a few things that we don't quite care for in it that they probably won't end up changing. But still kind of undecided on whether or not we're going to keep our pre-order. There is a pacifist mode, so you don't have to worry about getting ganked.
That's nice.
But if you die even with that on, you'll lose all of your materials because somebody will come steal it from you before you get back.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then you can't get revenge on somebody who just stole all of your stuff.
Because you're in pacifist mode.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to, if you shoot somebody, they have to shoot you back to actually engage PvP.
Oh, so even if you're being shot, you can just ignore it.
Yeah.
Alright, I like that.
It's a nice big map. Base building is fun. Until you lose all your materials.
Until you lose all your materials, yeah, sure.
We saw super mutants, which was kind of weird, but whatever.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there shouldn't be super mutants.
There are super mutants.
Well, please stop screwing up Fallout.
No. 2-player simultaneous modeling action. Thanks, Cat.
Yeah, we should have made our YouTube descriptions two live models performing in the studio. Numbers would have been through the roof, but only for seconds at a time. This is not what I want.
2 modelers, 1 bridge.
Too soon, too soon.
Is it?
Forever.
Okay.
Forever too soon. Move the camera again. Off screen. Let's break this up just a bit. And I'm still just using the violet pigment. We have a nice thick layer right here. Okay. Looking around for spots where I want some additional emphasis. Try to hit some of those vertical posts. Largely been neglected. So again, pigment as an accent, not primary material. On the top here, a few other spots. I'll load it with more ISO than pigment and let it run down for me. So you see how I'm loading it up at the top. Today I'm just hungry early and I keep thinking, well, it must already be noon because I'm hungry. Time to stop the broadcast.
I was hungry before you got here, so yeah.
That's fair.
I didn't have breakfast though, so that's probably why.
That's probably, I'll do it. I didn't have anything to eat and then I found myself hungry.
I don't know how it works. It just sort of happened. It's good to distract yourself. That will work with us. In addition to having the backside of the bridge should look absolutely fantastic as you're doing it, it is great to have some company in here while I'm working on this thing.
Absolutely. It's not dry. Yeah. It's not difficult to get me to come do roast. Mix up the brown rust now. Same deal, coming into accent. Just here and there.
I love these paint colors. They came out really well.
Oh, the rust paints?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still the one where I had high expectations and better than I'd hoped for. Especially old rust.
There's a number of paints in the weathering line that I use for a lot of stuff, but the rust mainly gets used when I'm doing this. But you got really nice blues and greens, and everybody loves tire black.
Everybody loves tire black.
I've used that dark iron a lot on the Xeon suits. Their darker metal bits and on the weapons and whatnot.
Yeah, I used that for all the dark bits on the Zaku Amazing. Yeah, it turned out really nice. I'm really happy.
You know, you want the judges to not want to touch anything because they're going to get tinnitus or tetanus. Tetanus. Tinnitus is the other one.
The same, but totally different. Get my nice textures. Mom always said I can be anything I want, so I'm a rust monster.
You don't do figures often, but you should totally paint one of those. There's a couple of nice ones out on the market at the moment.
Rusting?
Yeah, exactly. A rusty rust monster. Hey, Gunpla, thanks for joining in.
All right.
Do this. That doesn't really help them. One of my biggest downfalls with this camera is the actual device that holds it to the mount broke.
Oh no.
So I had to duct tape it and zip tie it. So I can't rotate it anymore. So getting lots of wonderful kind of wide shot angle, lots of Dutch angles.
Rust red. Just for emphasis and spots. Break up some of my over applied colors here and there. I would join some of that brown.
Happy Halloween.
And of course, a little bit of the dark yellow. Now I did not clean up my brush from the reds, so it's going to make this just a touch orange. It's actually perfect. My color. Orange. All right. So in this case, the yellow I only want down here. I'm going to bring you guys down again. Along just a few spots. We're going to get water, moisture buildup. The yellow is going to have a real pop when it dries. Off camera for just a sec, folks. Gotta keep moving you guys around with me. I'm already seeing spots where it's drying. It's gonna have. Why I'm only doing a little, but I want to break up this spot right here. So I'm gonna hit it. Yeah, go here. And then, excuse me, come in on the brick wall right here, right at the truss again, and let that streak down a bit. And inside that, heavy. So I'm just going straight isopropyl now, very carefully. And this is one of those effects we can do with the streaking on the bridge with oils, but orange pigment. All right, so quick tour of the bridge again. Get emphasis here on some of the nice rusty spots.
I think I'll have you come over with your pigments. Give me a quick run through.
Oil painting?
No, your pigments.
Oh, okay.
And you got all of them over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Come sit on my side for a little bit. Do some pigment.
Want to come see this real quick?
Yeah.
Pull on over there. Dust this up. It's all be on that side. So yeah, hitting it all for emphasis, right? So where you have the color already, and then stick the yellow just lower the bridge, where you'd actually get your water points.
Yeah.
One of these. One of these. Ooh.
Grab your shirt.
No, that's all right. Stand for a minute. It's nice to get up.
All right.
So I would start with the violet. I'll thin these down a bit more. They dry out a bit like Master Purples wants to do. And I start with the violet, and then find some of your spots here where
This
you've
is
already
the
got,
violet, right?
yeah, you've already got some violet emphasis, and just where you feel like it should use a slightly different violet with a nice dry teal. On the whole, yeah, you're going pretty random. So the only thing that's not going to be random is the application of the yellow or semi-red.
I like how that just kind of flows down.
That's one of the advantages, really, of doing it as a wash on a project like this. Gravity will do a lot of the work for you.
Flows down, and it also flows across this little barrier.
Yeah, when we do it with the pigment fixer, make the wash directly with the pigment fixer, it's even less viscous. It has a lower viscosity than isopropyl. All right. So what Emily does, okay, here's some clean isopropyl in case you do need to clean the brush.
Thank you.
While Emily does her rust over here, I'm actually going to come over here and talk about scale with foliage and some challenges. Do you happen to have one of the little fellas in here?
No, I do not.
Okay, that's fine. Excuse me, we've got our truck, and that's a good place to start. So again, looking at scale, I'll bring this right over here.
I'll also mention the fun joy I had of finding 1/144th static grass.
At that point, I just cut a field grass.
Yeah, but I'm lazy.
Oh, that's right. So this is our 1/144th scale little Humvee. It's a great little piece too. But again, give you a sense of scale. I mean, the little guys fit inside of there. So we're talking about figures that are smaller than my thumbnail. So when we're looking at foliage issues or options, it gets a bit tricky because, I mean, I have all of the Miniature and Silforce stuff, but let's take a look at, say, a common set of flowers here. So this is great for a nice flowering field, except for the fact that the flowers are the size of trucks. So we can around that by being able to break stuff up. We can actually cheat some of this stuff into a scene like this.
I've got assorted glues up above.
Well, I'm not going to glue yet.
Okay.
I just don't want to go gluing on your piece here. Just going to start laying out some clumpy ideas. So I'm breaking up a little clump of these guys. But I can, with or without the flowers, turn this into a large shrub. Let's get over here for scale, but even then, we're talking about a pretty big thing by comparison here to the truck. But it can work. Take off a couple of the little flowers maybe. But at scale at this point, we can actually use that to add some color, some variation, some interest over here on the foliage especially. So bring the camera around even further. It's a super Blair Witchy episode.
Spooky.
Yeah, that's it. We're doing it to be spooky. Yes, I am. So I can still get some of these little pieces. We've just got to be careful of the scale creep, especially on things like the flowers. Dubbity-dubbity-dub, where'd the bag for you go? Now, none of my laser cut ferns and stuff like that are going to work either because they're gigantic. Like here's a fun example. So I'm ready to go lilies, which are really cool, but also truck size. Where we can get away with stuff are things like, as I open this one, HO scale hedges. Granted, I don't think these guys are going to have a nice flowering hedge up here at the base, but they do make flowering hedges and non-flowering hedges in HO scale.
And hopefully N scale as well.
Yes. Yeah, but that's about as small as we can get. I have not seen them in N scale.
Hey, I found grass in N scale. Like, you probably make bushes.
Someone somewhere. The same thing, I've even got these little flowery tufty things that I can glue up. But even that's too large, whereas a few of its little petals can add a nice splash of color without having to worry about the scale. So. Even some of the reclaimed natural material that I like to use won't work well here. So we start talking about this being a big old tree. Long. Well, I think not all that. Maybe not seen appropriately, but not all that. But yeah, so in this case, instead of being bushes, they are definitely trees. Oh, and off screen. So see, that one actually does kind of work. Some of the moss I use though, not so much. The texture on this is going to be much too large. You can use teeny tiny bits as dry grass, but not glimpse. Not even partial glimpse. So, I'm going to keep working with Emily on her side there and give her a little more assistance. But unless folks have questions, I'm going to shut down my camera so I can head over there and you guys don't have to worry about staring at my back for an extended period of time. As always, I'm glad folks tuned in for Workbench Wednesday. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time joining us, hey, please come back. Ready to ask questions and have fun. And I'll see you next Wednesday, same time, same place.
make sure to like and subscribe.
Woo! Like and subscribe. Cheers, folks. Have fun. All right. Save. I'm checking what's going on over here on your stream.
That sounds great. Water also sounds absolutely great.
Yeah. Hydration. Who knew? All right.
I grab a share.
No, I really don't. I'm still good. Okay. I'll have her and make it hers. Somebody asked. Yeah.
All right, so
Making sense. It looks right to me. Do you like it?
I'm not entirely sure.
All spots that you don't like, you can break them up. And you can see some of these where you've got like the heavy application here.
Mm-hmm. Just rub it.
Yeah. I'll use Q-tips. I'll use my finger. Yeah, I know you've got Q-tips right there.
Yeah.
Don't put isopropyl on a Q-tip and then do it.
No.
That'll definitely get the pigment off.
And then some.
You can also break that up with some other pigment or even paint. You can put the paint right over this.
Mm-hmm.
That's easier to do when you're using the pigment fixer. But because we're using isopropyl, we can use some subtractive techniques like this, where we're able to take some away.
Yeah, my main concern is just some of the fit looks a little too big. Like it'd be fine at a different scale.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to keep everything that tiny scale for 1/144th is.
Tiny little tip of the brush.
Yeah.
But the places that I see that it's heavy is on these flat surfaces here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's easy to break up. You can do that with some dirt. You can do that with additional paint, additional pigment, tiny little footsteps. Somebody put footprints.
Just get the cat to come out here and walk on it.
There you go.
I think I'm going to take a break as well.
Okay.
I'll end my stream here, and we can relax for a little bit and come back to this.
Sounds good.
So thanks again, everybody who watched on both my stream and Mr. Justin's. Mr. Justin does this wonderful stream
Here, I'll
weekly.
pretend to have a chair.
Yeah, there you go. Here, let's also do that. And now we're both on the big screen.
Woo!
Yay! So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Justin does his regular stream on Wednesday, which I occasionally join in on.
Yep.
And my stream is still kind of erratic whenever I get around to it. So if as long as you hit follow on Twitch, you'll get the notification, or you can follow me on Twitter and just see it there. Thanks again, and make sure to tune in to Secret Weapon Stream.
Happy hobbying.